The uncomfortable truth about boundaries no one tells you. If you've ever said yes when you meant no, this will save your mental health. Most people think boundaries are selfish, but the truth? They're the key to healthy relationships and sanity. If you've ever felt drained after helping others, resented people for taking advantage of you, avoided conflict by staying silent, this means your boundaries are broken. Today, you'll learn why they're non-negotiable and exactly how to set them without guilt. Mistake number 1. Believing boundaries equal rudeness. The reality is, boundaries aren't walls, they're gates. They say, "You're welcome, but here are the rules." Real-life example. Sarah always stayed late at work because her boss kept piling on tasks last minute. She didn't want to seem rude, so she kept saying yes. Until one day, she snapped. Instead of waiting until she was burned out, she could have set a clear boundary. "I'm happy to help, but I need at least 24 hours notice for extra work." Without boundaries, you attract energy vampires. Mistake number 2, waiting until you're angry to set them. The reality is, boundaries are preventative, not punishments. Take Mark, for example. His friends always expected him to be the designated driver. For years, he put up with it, until one night he refused and lost his temper. His friends were confused because he'd never said anything before. If Mark had set a boundary early, "I'm happy to drive sometimes, but we'll need to rotate," he could have avoided the resentment. The consequence? You explode, then feel guilty. Cycle repeats. Mistake number 3, assuming people should just know. The reality is, no one can read your mind. Unspoken boundaries are like invisible fences. Consider Emily. Her mother-in-law constantly dropped by unannounced. Emily was frustrated but never spoke up, assuming her mother-in-law would get the hint. When she finally brought it up, her mother-in-law was surprised. She thought Emily didn't mind. If Emily had said up front, "We love seeing you. Can you text us first so we can plan?" the situation would have been resolved without drama. The consequence? Resentment builds on both sides. Why do boundaries matter? First, science tells us that your brain sees boundary violations as threats, which, well, hello, anxiety. Second, in relationships, clear boundaries lead to deeper respect. Ever notice how people treat CEOs versus pushovers? Think of a doctor's office. If a patient starts demanding personal contact outside work hours, the doctor doesn't give in. They have a clear professional boundary. This is why they're respected. Third, energy. Every yes to others is a no to yourself. Burnout isn't a badge of honor. For example, Lisa agreed to help a friend move on her only day off. She was exhausted but felt guilty saying no. When she finally set boundaries, "I love helping, but Sundays are my recharge days," she felt more in control of her time and energy. Step 1. Identify your non-negotiables. Ask yourself, what makes me feel drained or angry? For example, it could be last-minute favors, late-night calls, or people interrupting you at work. Example. If coworkers keep messaging you after work hours, say, "I don't check emails after 7 p.m., but I'll respond first thing in the morning." Step 2. Communicate with confidence. You can say, "I can't do X, but I can do Y." For instance, "I can't lend money, but I'll help you budget." Another approach is, "Let me think about it and get back to you." This buys you time to check in with yourself. And here's a pro tip, no apologies needed. Saying sorry but undermines you. Example, instead of saying, "Sorry, I can't babysit tonight," say, "I won't be available tonight, but I hope you find someone." Step 3. Enforce without guilt. If someone pushes, repeat like a broken record. Like I said, "I can't do X." Remember, if they get mad, they were benefiting from your lack of boundaries. Example. Your friend keeps asking for last-minute rides. You've said no, but they push back. Repeat calmly. "I already mentioned I can't do last-minute rides, but I hope you can find another way." Here's the truth. Boundaries aren't about controlling others, they're about respecting yourself. The people who matter will adjust. The ones who don't, they were taking advantage anyway. In conclusion, 1. Boundaries equal self-respect, not selfishness. 2. Set them before you're resentful. 3. Communicate clearly, no hints, no apologies. Call to action. Which boundary do you struggle with? Comment below. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to Everyday Mindset for more mindset shifts.